You're at 109 right now.
But you don't hear me though.
Hey everybody, you're watching iSee109. I'm Larry Wiggs, and I'm doing some research. I'm reading this book. It's entitled California's Black Pioneers. It was written in 1973 by Kenneth G. Goode. All right. I'm learning some interesting things here about my home state. I just read about Frederick Roberts, who was the first legislator in California. And what's interesting about Mr. Roberts is that, for one, he's the great-grandson of Thomas Jefferson. He was the great-grandson of Thomas Jefferson, okay? So there's that. But what really struck me is this fact that when he became California's first legislator, his opponent was trying to drum up support based upon racial bias. And basically, the story goes, his opponent handed out campaign literature that read simply, "My opponent is a nigger." The white boy in office basically said, "Hey, I'm gonna stay in power because we don't want these darkies coming in here." And this is the campaign literature he passed out. Hey everybody, just vote for me, the white boy, not the black guy. Whew. All right. So here's another picture of him here. So Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner. He was a slaver. And he was one of America's four founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson had a mistress, Sally Hemings, a black woman, an enslaved woman. And she bore 3 of his children, or 4. Sally Hemings raised 4 children. 4 children conceived with Jefferson. All right. It's a terrible history about Thomas Jefferson. I do know that Thomas Jefferson I do know of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings' relationship, but then there's also the story of macaroni and cheese. That was a dish that Thomas Jefferson liked, and he had his enslaved, he had one of his slaves prepare the meal. He had one of his slaves, he made him his chef, moved him up from a slave to a chef. Now you're going to cook for me, boy. That chef, that slave, was also Sally Hemings' brother. And although he was, I guess, treated pretty better, I mean, because if you're working in the house, then you're a house Negro versus the field Negro. So he was treated better. He was treated better, so much so that Thomas Jefferson even sent him to France, to Paris, to improve his culinary skills. And when he did, he came back. He returned to America to continue to cook for Thomas Jefferson. And the famous dish that Thomas Jefferson loved for him to make, and he was the one who perfected the dish of mac and cheese. Like, we know mac and cheese today because of him. Let me get his name before I end this video, so that I'm not just talking here. Let's see. I'll put in Thomas Jefferson mac and cheese. All right. What is this? Randolph. James Hemings. James Hemings, Sally Hemings' brother, James Hemings, spent 5 years with Thomas Jefferson in Paris, learning French cuisine while Jefferson acted as United States minister to France. All right, so anyway, so he was never free. He was always under the auspices of Jefferson, always under the control. You come with me, boy. We're going to France. I want you to learn to cook some better, you know, mac and cheese. Okay, so I think I was trying to make the point that Thomas Jefferson, he wasn't the coolest of dudes. You know, obviously, from his dealings with Sally Hemings to his dealings with James Hemings to just pretty much owning slaves and saying one thing and doing another, saying that all men are free, all men are equal, and treating men unequally. So that's all bad. Okay, but so I just read about Roberts, Frederick Roberts, the first California legislator. So this is powerful information. This is good information. This is new information to me. So I'm sharing it on the internet. This is what I do. I learn things and I share things. So add a comment if you feel so inclined. Peace and blessings, y'all, from iSee109.
You're at 109 right now.
But you don't hear me though.